Welcome to Inspired Vinyasa. My name is Sandra, and today we're going to be working on one of my favorite poses, so hopefully it's one of your favorite as well. We'll find out what that is in a moment, but first, go ahead, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Give me a big loud exhale. And what I just want you to think about, keep your eyes closed, is I want you to think about how balanced you feel right now, or not balanced you feel right now. And I don't really mean physically, but it could be physically versus mentally, emotionally. However you want to interpret that question, I'm going to just leave it there. How balanced are you right now? We just sat down on the mat. We're probably still a little, I was going to say hyper, carrying whatever we were doing with us prior to sitting on the mat, it's still with us, right? We haven't let it go yet. We haven't had that opportunity yet. And so I just want you to kind of notice what you're feeling, what you're sensing. And then give me another deep inhale. Let's hold this one. Big exhale. And do you notice how the breath starts to calm us down? It starts to center and ground us, prepare us for our practice. So in today's theme, we're really going to be looking for balance. But not literally, we will literally be in balancing poses, but that's not really where I want your focus to be. It's more on the symbolic balance associated with what we're doing, and then how you apply that to your life off the mat. All right, let's inhale the arms up. Bring the palms together, release them home to your heart and prayer pose. And let's set an intention for our practice. And will you add on something about being open to inviting in a sense of balance? And when you're ready, just release the hands. We're going to turn the head to look over the right shoulder. Just feel like you're weighting the shoulders down a little bit. Bring the head through center. Take it to the left. And I just want you to notice, bring the head to center, if there's any tightness in the neck. In the pose we are going to be working on, I'm going to give you the opportunity to explore which way the head is turned in that pose. And so I just want you to notice if there's, tightness or you feel muscles pulling, you perhaps are not going to want to turn your head in any of the poses, or you might consider doing it slowly. So practicing ahimsa as always. All right, go ahead, drop the chin down. Keep the head down. Let's take the arms behind us into yoga mudra. So if you're not familiar with that pose, what it looks like behind you, palms together, fingers interlace, and then we're going to straighten out the arms, but we start that from bringing the shoulders in towards each other first. You'll feel the shoulder blades draw in, arms lengthen, knuckles towards the earth. All right, keep the arms. Go ahead, bring the head back to center. Now turn the head to look over the right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. And return to center, releasing the arms. Perfect. If you want to shake them out, go right ahead. So if you have a strap and a block, this would be the time to grab those. If you have neither, don't worry about it. You can do the next pose we're about to do without either one of those. Or if you just have one of those, that's fine too. So I'm taking my block. I'm going to put it off on my left side. It's either going to be level with your hip or a little bit farther down. It's going to depend on your flexibility. So for now, just set it out there. And then I'm scooching back on the other side of my mat just so you can still see me, but you'll be centered on your mat. We're going to lay down, grab your strap. Oops, running into my other block. Okay, I'm just going to drop that strap right on my abdomen for the moment. I want to hug the knees into the heart. Gently rock this out. Perfect. All right, stretch out that left leg on the mat. Remember, the left foot stays flexed to keep that leg active. We're hugging that right knee back in. Deep inhale. Exhale, pull in a little bit more. And then don't worry about that block yet unless you want it. We're going to take our supine twist to the left. And so if it would be easier for you and you want that block, you can put it underneath the knee. The block's coming next though, I promise. And then arms either straight out from, if you have room, I prefer you to have the arms straight out from the shoulders because that's what they're going to look like in our final pose. If you run out of room like I do on the one side, I'm just going to take that arm into scarecrow, and that enables me to keep my right shoulder blade down on the earth. So while you're there, we're going to be talking about balance. So let's start with the word hatha yoga. All branches of yoga fall under hatha. That breaks down into 2 syllables. Ha references sun and ta references lunar or moon energy. So the pose we're working on, drum roll please, is Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha might sound familiar. You've often heard me say Ardha Uttanasana, which is monkey pose. Ardha means half. So it means halfway up, right? So Ardha Chandrasana, half. Chandra means moon. Hopefully that kind of sounds familiar. We've talked about Chandra before. And then asana means pose. So half moon pose. Hang on, I'm going to finish that train of thought, but I want to change your pose a little bit here. Go ahead and bring that knee back to center. Go ahead and take that strap around the bottom of the right foot and stretch that leg up to the ceiling. If you don't have a strap, again, you probably don't need it. You just interlace your fingers behind the leg, right? Or reach up and grab onto the big toe. Okay. If you can visualize Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose in your head, you're going to see why we're doing this. And if you're not sure what the pose is all about, don't worry about it. You'll understand when we are done. So we're going to be doing a lot of poses that lead up to it and that look like it in different ways. So right leg, keeping it straight, is coming down to my left side. And that's why I have the block there, because I want to catch that foot. So you can put the block at whatever height you need it to be. I can't even tell if this is still in the picture or not. Let me scooch over more. And I'm going to slowly go ahead and drop this leg down to rest on that block. Perfect. You are going to have to roll more onto the left hip to get there. So the right shoulder has probably lifted up higher than in your supine twist. Don't worry about it. Hang on to the strap so that we can kind of relax here without feeling like the right leg is working super hard. Otherwise, it's going to slip away from us. All right, so just holding it right here. Breathe into the hamstring. And so when we get into our full peak pose, Ardha Chandrasana, I think what you'll notice, perhaps, is that it's a good pose for the hamstrings, and you probably can feel that right now. The legs are going to be in kind of a similar position. Ardha Chandrasana is good for the ankles as well. And I'll give you some precautions about it too as we head closer towards it for those of you who maybe should reconsider, or should consider not doing the pose. All right, deep inhale. Loud exhale. however it's easiest for you. I'm going to bend my knee first because I'm going to have to scooch on my mat anyway. Roll onto the back. Go ahead and realign your spine. And let's go ahead and send this right leg back up towards the ceiling. See if it maybe feels a little looser than it did the first time it went up. And then I'm just going to release my strap. Inhale. And exhale this leg slowly down to the mat. Take your time. So one of the other things I want you to consider in our transitions is taking your time versus being energized, right? The sun has an energizing quality. The moon has a lunar, quiet, calm energy. And I want to find both of those in what we're doing, if that makes sense. All right, go ahead and draw the left knee in. You stay there. I'm going to have to turn around on my mat. Give me a big inhale. Exhale, pull the knee in closer. And then your supine twist to the right. Again, you can use that block if you want it. Arms straight out from the shoulders, or in scarecrow if you're really running out of room. Perfect. So, Chandra, the name for the moon. Chandra was born, as the story goes, out of a churning sea and married 27 lunar constellations of stars. All 27 are sisters. You can probably see there's going to be some angst here. 26 of those sisters feel that Chandra loves Daksha the best and that he dotes on her the most. And this is very upsetting to them. And they complain to their father about this. So their father is now very upset with Chandra because he has hurt his daughter's feelings. And he places a curse on Chandra that he will eventually fade away and die. Well, now the 26 sisters are remorseful. They're sorry they said anything. They love Chandra. They don't want anything to happen to them. And so to him. And so they appeal to their father to remove the curse. But alas, the curse cannot be fully lifted. It can only partially be lifted. And that is why the moon is said to wax and wane 2 weeks at a time, changing back and forth. So that's the story behind the pose we're working towards. I want you to go ahead and bring that left knee back to center. Take your strap around the bottom of the left foot. Send that leg up to the ceiling. Both feet are flexed. Just breathe into the back of the left leg. And then take your block, have it out on the right side of you at whatever height you think you're going to need it. And we're going to slowly take this leg all the way to the right. Hopefully it lands on your block. And see if you can just close your eyes. Take your focus to the back side of the body, touching the earth. I want you to feel very calm, very lunar, relaxed. And then the sun quality, the sun energy that's being worked on, you can probably feel that in the back of the left leg. Couple more breaths here. Oh my gosh, if you hear a weird noise in the background, my dog is behind my mat snoring. Sorry. At first I thought, what on earth is that noise? All right. I'm going to bend that left knee first just to make it easier to roll onto my back, and then send that left leg back up towards the ceiling. I'm going to take the strap off. Big inhale. And exhale that leg down. Be patient. Take your time. And I also want you to think about this idea of waxing and waning through our yoga sequence, right? I mean, aren't there times where you have a bigger burst of energy, and at other points in your sequence, you're like, oh my gosh, if I have to do one more, whatever, chaturanga. So just honor that. Don't fight through it. Just honor wherever you're at. All right, hug the knees on in. We're going to rock from head to toe so that we can come on up to a seated position. And then I'm going to take the left leg, send it out straight. I'm trying to stay in your view here. Right foot's tucked in, Janu Shirshasana. Pull that left hip back, sit up tall, and then let's hinge forward over that left leg. All right, make your way back up, gently switch out the legs. And then, when you come into a fold on this side, I want you to take your focus to your breath. Does it feel like the breath coming in is evenly balanced? And what I mean by that is, more often than not, we're breathing more strongly through one side of the nose than the other. And so do you notice that without having to do alternate nostril breathing and close off a nostril at a time to see which one is open and which one's closed? Can you feel it? For some people, both sides will be open. So it changes all day long. I just want to see if you can notice that, because that's important too as we're talking about balance. All right, make your way back up. Let's get our feet underneath us, come all the way up to standing. And we're going to find Tadasana mountain pose. I've got my feet hip distance apart. And then just take a moment, feel like you're aligning your body, roll the shoulders back a couple of times, spread the toes, ground through the feet. Close your eyes. So I want you to notice how balanced you are here. With the feet hip distance apart, I'm thinking you should feel pretty grounded. Okay. Now take the feet right next to each other, and we'll see if that shifts at all. Big toes touching, slight gap between the heels. So I can immediately feel a shift. I feel like I'm wobbling a little bit back and forth. I can feel the hips shifting to keep my balance. Slowly inhale, take the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Turn the fingertips to the earth once they hit the heart chakra, and forward fold, Uttanasana. So take a moment here, play around in the pose. You might create a vinyasa, inhale monkey, exhale it down. Remember, monkey is Ardha Chandrasana, halfway, right? Half fold. And then next inhale, come to monkey, hold it right there. What I want you to notice is the back of your neck. I want it to feel in alignment with the spine. So we're lengthening. Root chakra's reaching behind us. Crown chakra's moving forward. So the head should not be hanging. There shouldn't be this arch in the back of the neck. It also shouldn't be turned to a side. You get my point, right? We're looking for a straight line and a lengthening in the back of the neck, because we're going to be talking about that once we get to Ardha Chandrasana as well. All right. Give me an inhale. Exhale into your fold. Bend into the knees, plant the hands, step it back to plank. And then just kind of rock back and forth on the balls of the feet and the toes. When you're ready, chaturanga. Into cobra. Take it to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, big exhale. And then go ahead and bring the knees down to the earth and table. So we can work on warming up for Ardha Chandrasana from right here. So shift your weight into the right knee. Let's create circles with that left knee, because that's going to help us open up the hip. Now, one of the contradictions to Ardha Chandrasana, if you've had recent hip replacement, I wouldn't do the pose, and I'd be very careful doing the hip openers we're doing in this class. So again, I need you to focus on your body and what's right for you. Some of these poses are not going to be great for a recent knee replacement either, so keep that in mind. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, pause this video, go to one of my restorative classes, and come back to this one when your doctor says it's okay. All right, so keep that left knee off the ground. I'm going to stretch this leg out behind me, level out the hips, draw the stomach in, push the ground away with the hands. And now open up that top hip. And notice how the toes turn, right? Initially, they're facing the ground. Once I open the hip, the toes are facing off to my left. So we could say this is half Ardha Chandrasana, right? We'll be standing on that right foot. What we're also going to attempt is to free the left hand from its bind to the ground. So you can start to see if you can get that left hand off of your mat. If you're feeling really wobbly, maybe one finger stays on the ground. Maybe the hand hovers over the earth. If you're feeling kind of daring, but not fully, maybe you can get the left hand to the hip or just to the heart. And if you want to see where you can take this, you might stretch that left arm all the way up. Keep breathing. Nice. Go ahead and slowly release back to table from wherever you're at. Tuck the toes, take this to dog, walk it out. When you're ready, knees back to the earth. Shift the weight into the left knee. Make circles with the right. So let's see, a couple other issues that maybe Ardha Chandrasana might not be that great for it, and you should reconsider doing the full pose would be, if you're doing this at night and you have insomnia, Ardha Chandrasana, even though it's named after the moon, it's kind of an invigorating pose. So it's not going to help you fall asleep. I would recommend legs up the wall instead. Any blood pressure issues that are not being regulated, you should consult with your doctor first, just because, you know, we're in a balanced pose, and for some of us, the head might be lower than the heart, and that can throw you off a little bit. Let's see. Otherwise, I just love the pose. I think it feels amazing. Go ahead and take that right leg, stretch it out behind you, set your alignment here, level out the hips. You know, also when we get to standing, if you really are uncomfortable, come back down to this pose and just do Ardha Chandrasana from table. Okay, go ahead and see if you can open up that right hip. The toes are going to turn to face the right. And then again, let's play around with that right hand. You know, does it need to stay down? Can we come up to the fingertips? Maybe we can get that hand to the heart. Maybe we can get it to the right hip. Maybe it reaches for the sky. Different for all of us. Good job. Inhale. Exhale back to table. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Walk it out. Lovely. All right, come forward into plank. Chaturanga. Take it to cobra. Downward facing dog. Right leg is stepping forward for high lunge when you're ready. Perfect. Inhale, straighten out the front leg without locking the knee. Come back down. Release the hands to the earth. Set the back knee down and untuck that foot. Okay. So I want to talk about Anjaneyasana for a moment. So find your balance. Lift the arms, right? We sink into the hips, lengthen out of the low back, little arch. Now, why am I taking you here? I just wanted to point out that in some branches of yoga, they call this pose, Anjaneyasana, Ardha Chandrasana. So it can get really confusing. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page as to what pose we're talking about. And, you know, just wanted to be upfront that there are a couple branches of yoga that name some of the poses differently. All right, release the hands to the earth. Go ahead and lift that back leg. We're taking this to three-legged dog. That right leg is going up behind you. All right, level out the hips. I think it's kind of challenging to level the hips in this pose because, I don't know, I think maybe it's our ego that wants that leg to lift higher. And for some of us, we're going to have to open the hip to get the leg higher. And that really isn't the goal of this pose. So try to drop your head. See if you can see your foot hanging out up there. Can you get the toes facing the earth? Now let's turn it into a hip opener. Flying pigeon, right hip to the ceiling. The knee bends, the foot falls behind you. Deepen the breath. Right foot is slowly coming forward between the hands. Back leg follows, Uttanasana. Inhale halfway. Exhale, let it go. Reverse swan dive or whatever way you can find room in your space to come all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fingertips to the earth, come all the way back down. Take it halfway to monkey. On your exhale, soften into your fold. Walk the legs all the way back to plank. Rock it out onto the toes and the balls of the feet. Take your vinyasa. That left foot's coming forward for high lunge. Slowly straighten out that front leg and bend back down. Release the hands to the earth. Set the back leg down. Anjaneyasana on this side. Drop the hips. Lengthen out of the low back. Little back bend here. And then release the hands. We're lifting that back leg. Three-legged dog. Left leg up. Same thing here. Watch that left hip. Try to level it out. And then open the left hip, flying pigeon. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Slowly close the hip. Left foot is going to step forward. Right leg's going to follow. Forward fold. Take it halfway. Come on back down. Perfect. Go ahead and roll your way up. Find Tadasana, mountain pose again. Close your eyes. Compare your balance. And then inhale the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Left leg is stepping back, warrior B. Couple of deep breaths. And then extended side angle, right forearm on that right thigh, left arm over. So we're starting to kind of get into poses that look kind of similar to Ardha Chandrasana, right? Technically, our feet are in the right place for the pose. The right leg, of course, will be straight, and the left one will hopefully be somewhere parallel to the ground. We'll have one arm up, one arm down. Deepen the breath. So if you have any neck issues, remember we were talking about finding the length in the neck. If you have neck concerns, you're going to want to keep your neck in alignment with your spine. So in this pose, looking straight forward, right? And we'll do that in Ardha Chandrasana. If your neck is fine, I'll ask you to explore, try looking down. You can do it in this pose. Try looking up. Looking straight ahead, seeing what you like best. All right, perfect. Warrior B. Cartwheel the hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Hold it here. Downward facing dog. That left foot stepping forward, warrior B. Couple of breaths. Extended side angle, left forearm on that left thigh, right arm over. So again, I want you to notice about the neck, see where you kind of like the gaze, but there's something else I want you to notice this time. When we're in Ardha Chandrasana, I'm going to ask you to make sure that the heart and the ribs are rotating upwards. There's just a little pull back. So try it out on this side of extended side angle. See how it feels. What we do not want is to be rolling forward. We don't want to drop the top shoulder and have the heart facing the earth. So we're really looking at pulling back and having this openness with the heart chakra and the space above you. All right, warrior B. Cartwheel the hands to the earth. Take it back to plank. Hold it there. And then child's pose. Let's see, my mat sliding away from me. Let's take it on down to Balasana, child's pose. Feel the softness of the breath. Again, noticing what's the Surya part of where you're at, the sun part, the invigorating energy, and then where do you associate the lunar part, Chandra, with where you're at. And maybe when you first got here, the breath seemed very invigorated, but now it's settling into a calm, peaceful space. We're just looking. Give you a couple more breaths in that pose. When I do have you come back up, we're going to need a block within reach. So if you have one, have some awareness of where it is. If you don't have one, if you have something else you can use, like a book or something, that's fine. If you have nothing, do not worry about it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. All right. When you're ready, come on up to table. I'm going to move my block within reach. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Okay, the left foot is going to step forward, and I'm turning that back foot. I'm going to be coming up warrior B again, so I'm just placing the feet first. I want to take this block, and I want to bring it at its lowest height, just inside my left foot. We're going to see if we like this or not. We might not, and that's okay. We don't have to do it. So go ahead and come on up, warrior B. Perfect. All right. Drop the arms for a second. Perhaps this would have made more sense to get into this standing. I want my front foot. I think I will. Let's bunny hop that back foot in. I don't want to lose balance here, and I can't see you guys. So left foot up on top of the block, and now widen out your stance. There we go. Extended side angle right here. So just trying to make you a little bit more wobbly, because we really just want to acknowledge where we don't feel balance in our lives. If we don't notice it, we can't smooth it out and fix it, right? Okay, is that top shoulder open? Perfect. Okay, take that top arm around behind your low back. I'm going to take my left hand and slowly drop it down. So you can either find the top of your foot, hang on to that balance. You could get under the edge of the block. You could go all the way down to the ground. It could be on the inside or the outside of that leg. It's up to you. If this is too much on that front leg, you're hating this, get rid of the block. Not worth it. Okay, I'm going to release my right hand down, shift the left one over, come onto the ball of the back foot so I can free this leg, drop the knees. And then let's go ahead and take this to dog. And since we decided this was easier standing, let's walk the hands backwards for a moment, forward fold, and then make your way up. All right, let's try this again. So right foot on the block. Let's send that left foot out behind you. The toes will be facing to your left. Slowly sink down into that front leg when you have your balance. And again, if you're not using a block, you're just on the ground, which is totally fine. And then find extended side angle with the arms. We're going to take the top arm around behind us. Slowly drop that right hand down to wherever you need it to be. How do you know where you need it to be? If getting my fingers down to the earth caused me to round out forward, I went down too low. Good job. Okay, free the left hand. Let's bring the hands down to the ground, rotate on the back foot, get this leg off the block, knees to the earth, set the block aside. We are still going to need that block. And again, if you don't have one, that's okay. It just makes Ardha Chandrasana a little bit easier, but it's going to be fine. We'll live to tell about it, and we'll be thankful for Shavasana, right? Okay, table. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Give me a deep inhale. Big exhale. Okay, left foot is stepping forward. So I'm going to grab that block and put it diagonally forward of my left foot. If you don't have a block, that's where your hand is going to go. So you might even, if you want to, you could rotate on that back foot first, kind of like warrior B, so the toes are facing out. That means you've already opened the hip. That might be easier. You're going to have to decide which way you like it best. So let's try that first. We'll have the toes facing out. Left hand reaching diagonally forward on the ground or your block. And then I'm just slowly going to kick off until I can lift that right leg out behind me. So we're, don't worry about exactly where the leg is. It's going to be where you need it to be right now. But I do want the toes facing to the right. That means the hip is open. We're going to see where that right hand can go. If you need it down, don't worry about it. It's fine. Heart, hip. You could extend the right arm alongside the right side of the body. You could take that right arm up to the ceiling. Now, where are you looking? So remember I said, if you have neck issues, you're going to want to look in the direction of the right toes, which is to your right, to the open side. If your neck is fine, you can try looking down. You can try looking up. It's such a struggle for me to talk and balance and make these changes on myself all at the same time. Breathe. Okay, you all right here? Let's slowly come down for a moment into forward fold because there's more I want to do on that side, but that's a lot. Just relax here for a second. You can take the arms to ragdoll if you want to. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take that right leg back again, wherever you need it to be, to open back up into Ardha Chandrasana. Take your time getting there. Okay. So option A is wherever you ended up. Woo! Talking, looking at the camera all at the same time. Okay. Option B is going to be to bend that top knee, grab the foot behind you, and hang on. Pull that heel in toward the glute. Hello, hamstrings. And then slowly release back down, forward fold. I got one more on this side. I'm sorry if you're tired, but Shavasana's going to feel amazing, right? Okay, this time you're going to find we're not really opening the hip. Well, we'll kind of see what happens. It might open a little, it won't open as much as typically it does in this pose. So take your weight into the left foot. Let's take that right leg straight up behind us. Find your balance. Okay. If you want to, you're going to take that left arm. It's going to reach out kind of past your hip. Looking for balance here. Right hand is lifting and it's coming behind that left leg. Oh my gosh, I can't talk and do this at the same time. The hands are going to bind. If you can open the hip a little, that's fine. And then forward fold, walk that out. Whew, that's a lot on the legs, right? Breathe. Go ahead, roll your way up. Reach the arms. Take them to the heart. Drop the chin, close your eyes for a moment. Take that all in. So I don't know about you, but I'm noticing my left leg, the one that has been supporting us this whole time, feels a lot tighter. My right leg feels like jello. It feels happy and loose. And so definitely have that duality going on between energized and relaxed. Wondering if you're noticing the same thing. So, you ready for the other side? All right, let's come on back down into our fold. When you're ready, send that left leg out behind you. Remember the first time we got into this pose, we decided to try it with the legs in a warrior stance. So turn the left foot so that the toes are facing to your left. My right hand is looking and reaching diagonally forward of my right foot, or my block is there. I'm going to slowly kick off my left hip is already open. And then when you have your balance, you decide if the left hand is staying on the ground, if it can make it to your heart, to your hip, alongside the body, or up towards the ceiling. Lengthen out the back of the neck. Decide where you want to look. Breathe. And then slowly release it back down, forward fold. Hang out right here. So this is a lot of being upside down, which is why I cautioned you. If you have blood pressure concerns that are not being monitored by a doctor, okay, so let's try this again. Go ahead and however it's easiest for you to get that left leg up behind you, back into Ardha Chandrasana, open up the hip. Remember, we talked about rotating the heart and the ribs upwards. So you got to pull that right shoulder down underneath you, open up the top shoulder. And then if you find your balance and you want to try this, bend the top leg, reach back, and grab onto that foot. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly release back down into your fold, Uttanasana. Okay, last one. Shift the weight into the right leg. Lift that left leg out behind you. Start to find your balance. So push the ground away so you can get the hands off of the earth. And then the left hand's reaching between the legs, right hand's coming up over the hip, and they might find each other in a bind. And again, you can softly open that left hip if you want. Oh, there goes my moon. Falling over out of the sky. Breathe. And then come on back down to forward fold. Slowly roll your way up. Take it slowly. Keep the head down. Ooh, walk out the legs. Now do they feel balanced? I hope so. And then where are we going from here? Oh, it's all good. Bend into the knees. Come on down to the mat. Ah, you made it. I love that pose. Go ahead and hug the knees into the heart. Close your eyes. So another good pose you can do in your own practice to set you up for Ardha Chandrasana is triangle, of course. We just didn't get to that today, but that's a great one as well because similar alignment of the body. All right, let's come on down onto our backs. Go ahead, plant the feet hip distance apart. Draw the low back down and slowly lift the hips up. And then gently release back down. You know, another warm-up you could do in your own practice, if that is a pose that you feel like you want to work on, if you got tight hips, try coming into bridge. Now, take the toes out to the side. So heels are in, toes are wide. We're encouraging then an open rotation, and then we can slowly lift into bridge like that. And gently come on down. And then go ahead and stretch out the legs on your mat. sure your legs are just done. So let's focus on the arms. Let's take that left arm across the chest, stretch it out. And then the right. Do your legs feel really heavy? I feel heavy from the hips down, like, oh man, I do not want to move again, but it feels really good. Okay, release the arms. Take the left arm underneath your low back. So push your head into the mat. Lift your back off the ground. Get the arm underneath. I don't know if you can see my fingers coming through on my right side. And then I'm going to slowly settle my weight down right on top of that left arm. I'm going to take the right arm and just reach it straight overhead. Now take your focus to your breath. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the right arm down. As you slide that left arm out from underneath you, let the arms relax for a moment. And then again, I'm going to push the back of my head into the ground so I can lift my back to slide my right arm underneath my low back. And then take that left arm overhead. As always, if there's something about this, if your shoulders don't like this, change it up. My right shoulder's not particularly sure about this, so I'm actually going to lift my hips and get my arm at a little bit of a lower angle under the sacrum and see if that's better. Kind of. Yeah, I'm going to free my right arm. So, if you're having any shoulder issues with this, please don't feel like you have to stay there. And you're focused back to your breath. Do you feel everything in the body just calming down, becoming very lunar, low, calm, peaceful energy? Deep inhale. Exhale, left arm slowly comes down as you free that right arm. I'm going to push the back of my head into the mat one more time, just to slide my shoulder blades a little bit lower. Have the palms open to the ceiling. And then you might want to go ahead and widen out the legs to the width of the mat. Let the feet fall open. And then, of course, you're welcome to stay right here for Shavasana. But if you have props around you that you want to make yourself more comfortable, or you want to put your socks on or a sweatshirt, go ahead and do that. And then come back right down here to where we were, which was really comfortable. But I'm coming up. I have a quote I wanted to share with you. I'll give you a moment to get settled. Deep breath in. Cleansing exhale. Letting everything go. Feeling the body grow heavy. Shannon Alder wrote, "The moon will guide you through the night with her brightness, but she'll always dwell in the darkness in order to be seen." And I liked that because it's a good reminder that when your life is feeling really heavy and dark, that inner light within you, it's always there. It's just, I get it. Sometimes we feel like we can't access it, but don't lose faith. It hasn't burnt out. It's like the moon. It's waxing and waning, and it's there for you. All right, have a fabulous Shavasana. You'll know when it's time to come back when you hear my voice. As I welcome you back from Shavasana, take your focus to your breath. And when you feel ready, allow that breath to slowly deepen, as though that breath were moving all throughout the inside of the body and reawakening cells, reawakening muscles. Bring some movement into the body, the hands, the feet. You might want to stretch the arms. You might want to draw the knees into the heart. And then just very peacefully roll to a side in a fetal position. And then gently push your way back up. Deep inhale through the nose. Loud exhale through the mouth. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale the hands back home to the heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.